Welcome to our channel. We are Offshore Affairs, an international law firm. Today we're diving into one of the best-kept secrets in offshore company formation, the Wyoming LLC. If you're a business person engaged in providing any type of professional services, e-commerce, online business, general trading, a technology company, or startup, and are looking for an offshore company with 0% income tax, low setup and maintenance cost, high privacy level, no economic substance requirement, white-labeled jurisdiction with access to U.S. bank account and payment gateways, continue watching because this might just be the perfect solution for you. A Wyoming LLC, if set up correctly, can be a tax-free offshore company. Foreign owners who are not U.S. tax residents do not pay taxes on their LLC income. The LLC itself is a pass-through entity, meaning the income passes directly to the owner and is taxed based on the owner's tax status. A Wyoming LLC is one of the most affordable offshore company options. Ownership of a Wyoming LLC is highly private. The Secretary of State does not have information on the owners. Only the IRS and the Financial Crimes Enforcement Network knows the ownership details due to the Beneficial Ownership Information Report. Wyoming LLCs are not subject to economic substance requirements, meaning you won't need an office space, employees in the U.S., nor yearly expenditures to operate this company. White-labeled jurisdiction. The U.S. is not black or gray labeled by other jurisdictions or multilateral organizations, hence not considered high risk, allowing you to trade under a prestigious offshore company without triggering any type of red flag in the tax and banking system. U.S. bank accounts and payment gateways. Foreign owners of a Wyoming LLC can remotely open U.S. bank accounts with no minimum initial deposit. In addition, they can process card payments via Stripe, PayPal, and other platforms. One of the main advantages of a Wyoming LLC owned by a non-resident foreigner is that it's tax-exempt. If you're not a U.S. tax resident, you won't pay taxes on your LLC income if such income is not U.S. sourced. How does this work? Wyoming LLCs are considered pass-through entities, meaning the LLC itself doesn't submit an income tax return. Instead, the income is passed directly to the owner and taxed based on the owner's tax status. So, in the case of a single-member Wyoming LLC owned by a non-resident foreigner, the tax classification would be as a foreign-owned U.S. disregarded entity. This means the LLC is ignored for income tax purposes, and if there's no U.S.-sourced income, the owner isn't subject to U.S. income tax. Another way to understand this is to compare it to another offshore company formed in jurisdictions such as the Cayman Islands. The IRS treats foreign-owned Wyoming LLCs the same way it would treat a Cayman Islands company. The foreign-owned Wyoming LLC, just like the Cayman Islands offshore company, is taxed in the U.S. only if it has U.S.-sourced income. Just because the income is received by a U.S. company or paid by a U.S. person doesn't mean it is U.S.-sourced. To further complement the aforementioned, Wyoming LLCs provide W-8 Ben form, which is the Certificate of Foreign Status of Beneficial Owner for United States tax withholding and reporting when requested by a payer, and not a W-9 form, which is the one for U.S. persons, as foreign-owned disregarded entities are not considered tax residents in the U.S. So, what determines if an income is U.S.-sourced? Depending on the type of income, the factor of determination will vary. If the type of income or concept of payments you receive is salary, wages, professional fees, and other compensations, the source of income is where the services are performed. So, if you form a Wyoming LLC and provide any type of professional services under this LLC, while physically outside the U.S., this income isn't subject to U.S. taxes, even if your clients are in the U.S. or if the payments comes from a U.S. bank account. However, passive income such as dividends, royalties, sale of real estate property, rents, and interest, excluding bank deposits from U.S. sources, is treated differently. This type of income, known as fixed, determinable, annual, or periodical income, is subject to a 30% withholding tax if the payer is a U.S. person or the property is located or used in the U.S. This 30% tax rate can be reduced by virtue of double taxation avoidance agreement. What are the yearly maintenance requirements? At the state level, we must only pay for the renewal of the registered agent and address and submit an annual report to the Wyoming Secretary of State, where we confirm the company basic information and pay a $60 annual fee. At the federal level, we only submit Form 5472, where we only report the transactions between the LLC and the owner or its related parties, and fill out Form 1020 pro forma, where basically we only add the company name, tax number, date of formation, and tax year. How long does setting up a Wyoming LLC take? A Wyoming LLC is formed in less than 24 hours after payment is received. Nonetheless, we must wait between 2 to 3 weeks after we fax the SS4 application to receive your tax number. Once we have received your tax number, you can apply to open the bank accounts. This bank account opening process can take up to a week. To open a Wyoming LLC using Offshore Affairs services, we would only need from the owner a photo or scanned copy of his or her passport, and for the owner to fill out a short questionnaire. The passport photo or scanned copy does not need to be a certified copy. A simple scan or photo will suffice. We will not need a proof of address to open your Wyoming LLC offshore company, and you will not need to have a U.S. Social Security number to open the Wyoming LLC and to get the tax identification number for your company. Offshore Affairs provides all-inclusive Wyoming LLC company incorporation and management services for non-residents, including obtaining the EIN for your company, registered agent and address, assistance opening a bank account, accessing payment gateways, corporate documents, and more. Offshore Affairs is an international law firm specialized in offshore company formation, offshore bank accounts, international tax planning and international tax counseling, asset protection, trust setup, golden visas, and citizenship by investment. If you would like to learn more about the offshore world, check our published books on offshore companies formation, offshore banking, and international taxation on Amazon. Link in the description. And if you want to know further details about Wyoming LLC's taxation, yearly maintenance requirements and compliance, pricing, and more, check the links at the description and subscribe to learn more about the offshore world.